Alright, hey, how's it going, guys? Mush back at it with the first video taking a look at the Lunar New Year sale that is running right now. A lot of great deals as a part of this. I was not expecting as big of a sale as we're getting out of the Lunar New Year sale. Of course, this little tidbit of getting $5 off your first purchase of $30 or more is going to be a big factor when you actually talk about these deals, and it's hard to kind of factor it into talking about deals specifically. However, if you guys want an idea that I had was actually making $30 bundles, that's going to take me a little bit time to make because I really have to break down prices, add everything together, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But if you guys would enjoy a video like that so you can accentuate that $5 off your first purchase of $30 or more, let me know in the description box down below. And remember, you don't want to be piecemealing and buying games separately. Let's say you want Witcher 3. Of course, I'm going to be talking about that because that deal is insane. Don't buy the Witcher 3 and then turn around, buy another game separately that's like $17. Add them to your cart together, and that's how you get the $5 off. If you start buying stuff separately, you're not going to get that $5 off. So I just wanted to note that, and if you guys would like that bundle video, that's going to take me a little bit of time to make, but let me know in the comment section down below. In this video, we're going to take a look at 10 specific deals that are really good. A lot of new lows on a ton of games, and guess what? For all of you guys that hate on weeb games, we only have one weeb game on this list. Maybe we'll do a separate video taking a look at more weeb games, but just one on this list, and we'll mention it at the end, so I'm listening to you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, first up, we have Watch Dogs 2. It is hitting a new low. It is 80% off for $11.99. This is a great deal on Watch Dogs 2. Typically, when this is on sale, I believe it's like $17.99, and for a long time, I was like, what the hell? Why is this retaining its price for so long? Released all the way back in 2016, and 2 years for a game that kind of had a lukewarm reception commercially. You wouldn't expect it to hold up in value for so long. However, if we're talking from a fundamental standpoint, this is a really good game. I often compare Watch Dogs 2 to Assassin's Creed 2, in that the first Watch Dogs had a lot of issues, but Watch Dogs 2 came back and really refined the game, made it a lot more enjoyable. Unfortunately, it seemed like Watch Dogs 2 just didn't resonate with gamers as much as an Assassin's Creed 2. Maybe at some point we'll see WD3, but if you like the premise of Watch Dogs, I would say go give a look to Watch Dogs 2 at $12. It's quite good, and I was looking for a Metacritic score, but Steam doesn't have that, but $12 for that would give it a recommendation. Again, if you like the premise of Watch Dogs, if the premise of Watch Dogs doesn't really interest you much, to me, it was a very unique premise, and I think the majority of people would agree with me on that. A lot of you guys just didn't give WD2 a chance, but I would say remedy that for $12 and not a bad buy. Alright, moving on from that, we have Hellblade Sacrifice, 50% off for $14.99, so another game that's holding up in value quite a bit. This is a more recent release coming back in mid-2017, August of 2017. This is a game that I was so skeptical of going into it. If you guys remember the initial gameplay of this game, yes, it was made by Ninja Theory, a studio that has done some of my favorite games, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, DMC, Devil May Cry, and inherently, when I heard that Ninja Theory was working on a game that was a spiritual successor to Heavenly Sword, I was super interested. And then I saw the first gameplay and I was like, this game looks a little bad. But thankfully, by the time of this game's release, Ninja Theory completely refined the game. It is a lot better than the initial gameplay, and the game itself super atmospheric, you'll note that, and it's a psychological game as well. A very interesting story that you kind of have to interpret in your own way. It's not a lengthy game, it's around 4 to 6 hours if you're decent, but for the experience that you're getting, I would say it's worth it for $15. If we're talking strictly value, like hours out of your dollar, probably not the best buy, but I think it's a quality experience where I would recommend it. If you guys don't know, Ninja Theory has just been acquired by Microsoft. Thankfully, on PC, we'll still be able to play their game. We'll be able to play their games on Windows 10, and Microsoft backing Ninja Theory, they might be able to put out something pretty big budget, so that's exciting. And Hellblade Sacrifice, if you've yet to check it out, $15 for that, I would say, is quite good. Moving on from that, I believe this is a new low as well. Dishonored 2 is 67% off for $13.19. Just looking at the reviews for this game, because this game initially was a pretty train wreck of a PC port, so I could see why all reviews is at 80%, and then the recent reviews are actually a little bit higher at 87%. Now, if we're actually talking about it from a gameplay standpoint, Dishonored 2 is a considerably better game than the first Dishonored, and I love the first Dishonored. If you follow my channel way back in the day, you know how highly I think of the first Dishonored, but Dishonored 2 is a way better game. You have two playable characters, either Corvo Atano, the main character of the first game, or Emily is in there as well, so that's pretty cool. Gameplay is a lot more varied. If you have yet to play Dishonored 1, I believe that's pretty cheap. Let me find it. Let me just look it up right here. $329 for the first Dishonored, so that's pretty good if you've yet to play Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2, again, better game, but $3 for the first title is quite good as well. If you've yet to play the second game, again, they've made a lot of improvements on the PC version. I do believe, yes, there's a demo available as well, so if you're a little bit skeptical, download the demo and then go from there. But I think as far as fundamentally a game goes, it's really solid. Alright, moving on from that, this game's a little bit funny. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. If you guys know me, you know how much I love this game. This is probably my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Thinking about it retrospectively, for a while, I really liked AC Origins, I really liked AC Odyssey. However, the microtransactions in that game really put me off. Assassin's Creed 2, I know for a lot of you guys is your favorite, but if you actually compare AC2 and AC4 side by side, I feel like AC4 is just objectively the better game. Why do people go with AC2? Maybe because it's older, and maybe you guys have an emotional attachment to Ezio as a character. However, the main character in AC4 is awesome. Edward Kenway, I'm gonna go on a limb and say I like Edward Kenway more than Ezio. I know that might be a crazy statement to some of you guys, but remember that Ezio's story arc was encompassed through 3 games. We only got to know Edward through 1 game, and I thought Edward as a character was awesome. Of course, AC4 also added the naval gameplay, and that was great. Open world is gorgeous, and even to this day, it holds up visually. Sure, it's not as sizable of an open world as, say, AC Odyssey, but for what you're getting, if you want that old school AC experience, old school as in, you know, 6 years old, it's not that old, but that older AC style of game, AC4 Black Flag, I think is a great buy. And $6.79 for it, a great deal here. I do believe Uplay gave this game away for free a year ago or something like that, so yeah, that's something to know, but still, it's not free anymore, so why not pick it up and get it on Steam? Alright, moving on from that, of course, The Witcher 3 Game of the Year Edition. I think this is the highlight of the entire sale. Wow, it's finally down from $19.99. Now, this was available at GOG for $14.99, the same price. However, if you couple this with Steam's $5 discount, you are going to end up getting a better deal if you buy this. And I'll just throw out a game like Rust. I believe that's $17.49. Well, then you save an additional $5, so that is the better deal. And you can also get the base game a little bit cheaper. Usually what they did was The Witcher 3 and the Game of the Year edition would be the same price, so why would anybody buy the base game? Now you actually have reason. If you want to save $3, you can get the base game. However, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine are fantastic, so I would just recommend the Game of the Year edition. You're getting like 20 hours of additional content. Honestly speaking, probably a little bit more than that. My memory of the entirety of this game is a little bit foggy, but just know that the base game is very lengthy, the DLC adds more content, and the game itself is tremendous. It's, in my opinion, the perfect single-player experience from a gameplay standpoint, story, visuals. It really nails every element, and $15 for this, of course, it's an essential game to own for any PC gamer. It looks tremendous on high-end PCs. Just can't say enough good things about it. You guys know that I'm a Witcher nut hugger, so let's just move on. Alright, moving on from that, Far Cry 5 is also hitting a new low on Steam. 75% off for $14.99. Far Cry 5, you'll see, has a little bit of a mixed reception on Steam. I can see why some people weren't as big of a fan of Far Cry 5 as I was. The game looked great. It's your traditional Far Cry game, though. It doesn't really revolutionize on top of FC4 or FC3. If you really want to get into Far Cry, you can go back and just cop FC3. I'm sure that's pretty cheap. Let's go take a look right now. Far Cry 3 is $7.99, so Far Cry 5 is $15 for that price. If you like the fundamental Far Cry gameplay since Far Cry 3, you'll enjoy Far Cry 5. Don't expect anything revolutionary, but as far as an open world adventure, Far Cry 5 is really good, and $15 for it, again, a new low, so I have to give that a recommendation. It's a good game. Alright, moving on from that, this is kind of a hidden deal. Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration edition is 80% off for $11.99. I know everybody's focused on Shadow of the Tomb Raider, however, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a great game and a great entry point for the franchise. I know there's 2013 Tomb Raider, but this game I felt was way better than the 2013 title, and I like that game quite a bit, but Rise of the Tomb Raider really improves upon that game. Better story, more varied gameplay, and best of all, it's not as expensive as SOTR, and at $12, I think a lot of people would even agree that ROTR is the better game. Not a super lengthy game. I mean, if you rush through this game, you can complete it in 5 to 6 hours. I believe I have a walkthrough on my channel, and yeah, that entire walkthrough was like 5 hours long, but there is some additional content with this version, and for $12, you're not paying the initial, what, $60 price point. It's a much more palatable price, and you're getting a decent bit for your money, and quality over quantity here, so Rise of the Tomb Raider really nailed that. Moving on from that, Grand Theft Auto 5 is 50% off for $14.99. I do believe this is a new low on GTA 5 on Steam. I've seen this price on Humble before as well, but on Steam, $15 is really good for GTA 5. Is it a game that I really need to sell you on? No. I mean, I feel like everybody owns Grand Theft Auto 5, and if you don't, when you get your PC, this is one of the first games you buy Yeah, Rockstar has made a killing off this game. That's why I think RDR2 will at some point come to PC. Just this residual income that Rockstar gets. Like, GTA 5, after all these years, is still making them a boatload of money, and it's a great game. If you just assess it from the single player, I really enjoyed that. I didn't delve into the multiplayer all that much. I know GTA Online is a big thing for a lot of you guys. I can't speak on that too much, but the single player to me was a lot of fun, a lot of content. I love the story, love the characters, and I do think based on the GTA games that I've played, this is my favorite game in the franchise. And $15 for it, it's a must-own game on PC, so definitely check it out. Another game where if you have a high-end PC, you're playing the game at 4K 60 FPS, looks tremendous even now in 2019, 4 years after the PC version came out. Alright, moving on from that, I mentioned this in the earlier video, but XCOM 2 Collection was a little bit on the fence on whether or not to recommend it, but I do think this is a great deal. $27.84 for XCOM 2 and all of the DLC. You get War of the Chosen here as well. That is the main piece of expansion, although all the other stuff is cool as well. XCOM 2 is a great game. War of the Chosen makes it even better. A lot of you guys might point to the fact that XCOM 2 was available as a humble monthly title, but that was the base XCOM 2 game. War of the Chosen, this is the only way to get it, and it's just held up in value for a really long time. Yes, $27.84, a steep price to pay. Throw in a cheap game like a Dishonored 1, and that would actually break you over $30. Yeah, if you are looking to get XCOM 2 Collection, you've yet to play Dishonored 1, just thought of that on the spot. Those two games together, yeah, that would get you to like $31. You'll get a $5 discount and you'll get it for $26. So that's something cool you could do. XCOM 2, a great tactical strategy game, and I'm not big into strategy games, but one that really won me over. Initially, a game that did have some issues on PC, but for the most part, a pretty good experience as long as you have the PC that is capable of running it. And yes, you could get the base game for $15, but if you really want to delve into XCOM, get the collection. I believe Enemy Unknown is a little bit cheaper. Let's see how much that is. Let's just type in XCOM. Where is Enemy Unknown? Enemy Unknown is $7.49. So if you do want the cheaper option, instead of getting XCOM 2, the base game, get Enemy Unknown, see how you like it, and then if you do really like it, which you probably will, then you can check out XCOM 2 Collection, which is a little bit steeper of a price point. And lastly, for all my weeb brothers out there, Tokyo's Andouille X Plus is hitting a new low, 70% off for $17.99. I know half my audience, maybe even 3/4, just tuned out of the video right now, but this is a really good JRPG. The typical comparison you'll see is to Persona. No, it's not as good of a game as Persona 5, but that is a high bar to live up to. The game itself is a pretty charming JRPG. A lot of traditional mechanics here, but overall, I would say it's quite a good game. A very lengthy game as well. The only issue with this is I've played through Persona 5, and Persona 5 is a game that, with its length, it can keep you engaged throughout. Tokyo Xanadu, to me, loses a little bit of its luster halfway through. The story isn't as compelling, but if you are looking for a quality JRPG that's in the 7 to 8 out of 10 range, this is a good one, and it's held up in price for quite a while. It was $30, and now it's down to $17.99. If you've been eyeing it, I'd definitely give it a recommendation at this price. Alright, that's going to conclude this video. So we went super in-depth on all of these games, and again, take advantage of the $5 off your first purchase of $30 or more. We'll do that bundle video. I'm sure you guys would enjoy that, but let me know in the comment section down below. That's just going to take a little bit of time. That's why give me a couple days to do that, because I really got to figure out the cheap games. There are games like Mini Ninjas, Dishonored 1 we saw that could really break you over that $30 threshold. That's the real issue. You want to break through that $30 threshold without going over too much if you are on a tight budget. So that's going to conclude this video. If you guys have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comment section down below. Links to all of this will be in the description box, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.